Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to our session on NLP, Natural Language Processing. So, friends, so in today's session, we are going to understand how web scraping can be done. Okay, and for that, I took a use case where we are going to web scrape the content from a URL. Okay, I took a movie called Sankranti Vastunam. It's a Telugu movie, and it was released in the last Sankranti. So this particular movie, for all the movies, we generally get the reviews, right? So for this particular movie, I'm going to scrape the reviews and perform some kind of sentiment analysis. So in the previous session, we understood sentiment analysis, but there we have understood by taking the Twitter data. We took tweets and then we on the Twitter data, we performed sentiment analysis, right? But here we are not going to have the data in a file, but we are going to scrape the data from a URL, from a website. I hope it's making sense. But before we start the session, I would like to show the website, the URL that I'm actually trying to scrape. Here it is. So nowadays we have many websites on which we can go and give our review. It might be regarding a movie. If not, if you if you shop online, the e-commerce sites like Amazon, Myntra, Flipkart, all of them, they'll give you the kind of review box where you are supposed to, you can give your review for that particular product, right? In the same way, I have took Rotten Tomatoes site, and in this particular site, I want to do some kind of analysis on the reviews that we got for this Sankrantiki Vastuna movie. And here are the reviews, friends. You see, uh, on an average, I can see that the majority of the people, they have rated that it's a good movie. All of them have given around 4 stars. But rarely I also see, 1 star. So let us not, go through each and every review, but somehow we'll try to scrape all the reviews that are present here, and then we are going to do analysis on the data. Okay, then we are going to do analysis on the reviews. I hope it's making sense. So in this way, you can try any of the website, whatever might be the action of source that you are trying to scrape, get the URL and then accordingly perform the script. Your script should be customized accordingly. So I have took a website where we get the reviews from the audience, for different movies, and randomly I have took this movie, friends. There is no reason behind it, but I hope I have, the agenda is fixed. It's clear, and let us start our use case. So I'm using Spider IDE to execute the code, Python script and all. So web scraping, what exactly is a web scraping, friends? Whatever the content that you have it on a URL, you're going to use the content, you're going to scrape it and do some kind of analysis. So as I have discussed, you're going to collect the reviews from Rotten Tomatoes site, the page for Sankrantiki Vastuna movie. Okay. And once after scraping the content, we'll do all the pre-processing steps. Okay. Once after completing the pre-processing steps, let us also do sentiment analysis, whatever we did in the previous session on the previous use case. We'll try to do the similar kind of sentiment analysis. Then we'll also visualize word cloud. Okay, so even text data can be visualized. So let us visualize the word cloud by generating a word cloud to display the most common words, whatever the words that are common across all these reviews, based on the frequency of the word, we can see the size of that particular word as part of word cloud. And we'll also apply engrams. Then we'll also do positive word cloud, negative word cloud, and all. Right. So the first step is importing the required libraries, whatever the library that is required. I'm importing it. So pandas for data manipulation, then request library in order to get that URL. I'm going to use that request library, and beautiful soup from BS4. I'm importing beautiful soup. So this is the function that is used to scrape the data. Okay, so in order to parse it to HTML or XML document, we need a beautiful soup. I'm importing. Yes, done. Then text blob for making the basic pre-processing. I'm going to use text blob, and finally to visualize, I'm going to use word cloud. Done. And also I want to go and import matplotlib.pyplot. So whatever we are going to get, as part of sentiment analysis, I want to show you some kind of bar plot. Okay, a count plot I want to display according to the sentiment of the reviews. Okay, yes, it's done. Now what I'm doing is I'm taking the site, whatever the URL that we have, I'm taking in a string and I'm storing it to a variable called URL. So this is the site, this is the URL. I have stored it to a variable and this I represented as a string. Now I'll use request library and I'm going to get the protocol. Okay, so this URL will be get the request, and yes, the response to that particular object has been done. And let me get the page printed to the output. Yes. So in total, probably we are going to get 200 responses. And then I'm using beautiful soup function. Okay. So this particular function helps us to pass the HTML file. Okay. And I'm storing the output to soup. Let me print soup as well. Yes. So this is our HTML file. Okay. So in which we have the reviews and all, you see. But this HTML have, tags. The HTML file that we are going to use, in general, HTML language have tags. Okay. So I'm going to view the entire HTML structure using a prettify function. So see, so this is the entire HTML code. Okay, but I don't want to have all, but wherever, this particular class, audience reviews, under the audience reviews, JS review text. So this is where we have the reviews, right? Audience reviews. So under the audience reviews, let us go and get the reviews. Only that is enough. So wherever that particular tag is identified, okay, find all of them and store it under reviews. Done. Okay. Further, what I'm trying to do is I'll create an empty list. Then I'm coming up with a for loop. Okay. The for loop says for review in reviews. So whatever the variable you are going to use, you can use. I'm just keeping it as review for better understanding. So for review in reviews, okay, reviews dot get text. So you're going to get text if it is present as part of reviews. So within this, okay, and it is going to extract from this tag. Since I have mentioned P, okay, the tag, whatever it is part of this tag, it is going to extract the text and that text will be appended to this empty list. What does append function does? Append function adds one by one. So you are going to store all the reviews as a list. So you'll get list of reviews when you execute this for loop. Let me do it. Yes. So let me also open the reviews text. See, we have the review and the size, Okay, each and every review was being stored as an object, an element within a list. So we have list of strings, right? Each and every string is talking about a review. Now, I would like to print all the reviews that we got. So I'm just running the for loop as is. Okay. Yes. Let me print it. So these are the reviews that we have one by one. Okay, after each and every review, the second one starts printing. That's what we'll use loops, right? To perform continuous iterations. If I want to repeat the same task for n number of times, loops are used. Clear. Now, these reviews, I would like to convert into a data frame. Whatever the reviews that we have stored in a list format, that reviews we are going to convert back to a data frame. And the column name, I would like to keep it as columns. I would like to keep the column name as review. Okay. So let me execute. Done. What is the data frame name? The data frame name is reviews underscore df. So this is the data frame and the size is 20 rows and one column. Let me open it. So this is the data frame in which we have all the reviews. Making sense? So initially we took a URL in which we had the reviews on which we are going to perform web scraping. Then I took the URL. I used a request library to get that encoding. Then I'm using beautiful soup function from BS4 library to get you know to pass the reviews. Then after that, I have identified the tag of that particular reviews, and accordingly, I grabbed all the reviews and stored in a list, and this list has been converted to data frame. That's what we have done. Now, let me start sentiment analysis. Okay, so for that, I'm coming up with a function. The function name is get sentiment, get underscore sentiment. I'm defining my own function. Okay, so for that, I'm using text block function. So this text block function is going to classify, okay, whether the review is positive, neutral, or negative. So for that, we are using polarity score. Okay, so this polarity score is going to check the words, and accordingly, if the polarity score is greater than 0, it returns that particular review is positive. If it is equals to 0, it results or it returns neutral. If it is what if it is not satisfying the above two conditions? Obviously, it returns negative. So for that, I'm defining a function. Okay, so let me define the function initially. Done? Yes. Now, I'll pass all the reviews that we have in this data frame. This is the data frame, right? Reviews underscore df. So within this data frame, we have the column review, and I'm going to apply the function on it. Using apply function, I'm going to apply the custom defined function, whatever we have defined, and the results I'm going to store in a new column. Within the same data frame, I'm going to create a new column, and it is named as sentiment. How many columns do I have now? Only one column, it is review. So that means we are going to pass the data into this function, and this particular function will return output for each and every review, right? So that review is captured in a new column. It is sentiment. Okay. So a new column is created with the name sentiment in the same data frame, and the output is captured. Nothing but the sentiment of each and every review is being captured. I'm done. So let me open. Now if you see, it is 20 by 2. Previously, it is 20 by 1, right? Okay. So this says, it talks about the sentiment for each and every review. Done. That's it. So now what I'm trying to do is I'll get the head function. I'll use the head function to get the top rows. By default, the 5 rows, to understand whether the new column has been created or not. Yes, it got created, and I can see the sentiment for each and every review. What does value underscore counts does? What does value underscore counts does? Value underscore counts is a function which returns unique values along with it count. Okay. Along with the count of each and every unique value will be written. So how many unique values we have under sentiment column? So under the sentiment column, we have three uh, unique values. They are positive, neutral, and negative. So this particular value counts will return the count of each and every individual sentiment. So let me also execute. So I'm done. It is stored in sentiment underscore counts. So this is the count. So what do you understand from this? What do you understand from this, friends? Obviously, I see out of 20 people, 16 people have given a positive, a kind of review. Okay. But 3 people, it was neutral, and one people, the review is negative. So I can see that we got good reviews for the movie, and obviously we are aware of that particular movie, right? It had got a good collection, and moreover, it was, it got a good positive talk as well, right? So even we got the same output. Now, this particular output I'm going to represent as a distribution. Okay, so I'm going to plot a bar plot. I'm using a pie plot submodule. Okay, so yes, so I'm going to use PyPlot submodule subpackage from Matplotlib, and I'm going to plot bar plot, and I'm going to give different colors: green, gray, and red. Okay, and the title of the plot I'll keep it as sentiment distribution of reviews. X label, the label for the x-axis I'll give it as sentiment, and for y-axis the label will be named as number of reviews. Okay, and X ticks. Are we going to rotate the sentiment values that we are going to have as labels for x-axis? No. Without any rotation, I would like to keep it as it is. And finally, I would like to display the plot. I would like to visualize the plot using plt.show. Let me execute this one as well. It's done. And this is how we have the output. So it is clear, it is obvious that the movie have got good positive responses. I mean, good positive reviews. So it's a blockbuster that we can understand. And this is just for only, probably for 5 to 10 days of, the first 5 to 10 days of the reviews that we are working on. Right? Yes. Now, I would like to visualize a word cloud. For that, I'm going to join all the reviews. Okay. So whatever the reviews that I have that are present in the data frame, I'm going to join all of them, and that particular output will be converted to a list. Okay. So you are joining using join function. Okay. Using space. You are using a string, empty string, which represents space. So from this data frame, okay, within the review column, each review will be joined using space. And that output will be stored in, it will be stored back to a list format. And that list is stored as a variable. It's nothing but all underscore reviews. So let me go and see all underscore reviews. So this is how you'll have the output. Making sense? I have all the reviews, okay, which are attached with, which are joined using an empty string. Now, I would like to apply a word cloud. Okay, a word cloud will be visualized, generated on the data. Okay, this will help us to understand which word is having more frequency. Okay, so I'm also keeping the parameters, the width of the plot, height of the plot. Okay, then the background color should be white. It should be generated on all reviews, which is nothing but this string. Okay, and the size of the plots, and you know, the axis, I don't want to have anything. Let me go and visualize. So this is how the word cloud looks like. Okay, so the width and the height of the plot is decided. And we are also fixing no access to the plot, right? So the word cloud is displayed. We are able to visualize the word cloud. If you see which word is having more frequency, I can clearly see probably, film. Okay, because in all these reviews, this word might be used commonly, right? So if not Venkatesh, who is no, the main lead in this particular movie, was being used more number of times. So that is the reason you are able to see these words with higher size. The size of these words is very big. So word cloud helps us to visualize the frequency of the words which are repeating for more number of times. Okay, it's a family entertainer. I can clearly see. Okay, so yes, but somehow I'm convinced. But let us, why not go and visualize the word cloud for different types of engrams? Let us take 1 gram, 2 gram, and 3 gram and visualize the word clouds. Yes, let us go and do it as well. So, friends, just as an example, I have took a movie, but you can go and perform analysis, or say you can take a product and study this, do web scrape the content, whatever the reviews that you get for that particular product can be scraped, and you can perform the same. Okay, you can study whether it's a good review that you have overall or a bad review that you got for the product can be understood. So as a, just as a small task, try it. Okay, use the same pattern, just scrape it using beautiful soup. Right. Then now in order to perform engrams, I'm going to use regular expressions. I'm importing regular expressions followed by NLTK because I need to do some basic kind of, pre-processing steps that are mandatory. And for visualizing, I'm going to import matplotlib.pyplot as PLT, then word cloud. Anyhow, we have all of them, but still I'm going to import once again. Then I would like to do text pre-processing, right? So I'm importing stop words from nltk.corpus. Then I'm also importing word underscore tokenize. So which is generally used as a tokenizer, one of the type of tokenizer uh, to convert the entire text into tokens from nltk.tokenize. Then I'm also importing ngrams from nltk.util. So this ngrams will help us to get the words in a sequence, whether you want to get 1 gram, 2 gram, or 3 gram. You can use this ngrams function. Then finally the counter from collections. So all of these I have imported, and now I'll start downloading the required resources. Okay, I'm going to download the punct and stopwords. So these are two files that you have to download from NLTK because you're supposed to remove them from your text, right? So I am supposed to remove the stopwords that are not required. So in the previous word cloud, we have stopwords as well, but I should not have any stopwords, the connector words, the common words that we use as part of our text. So they should not be present. Now I'm going to come up with a custom defined function, and this function is going to perform all the text pre-processing steps. Right. So what does the function say? I'm keeping the function name as clear underscore text. And if you pass the text as a parameter, it is going to, no, it uses RE, regular expressions. From RE, we are going to use sub function. This sub function helps us to substitute if there are, any kind of uppercase. Okay, apart from, okay, I understood the pattern, friends. Let me, probably tell you. So this cap is telling negation. So if apart from characters which are in uppercase and lowercase, all of them should be replaced with nothing. They have to get substituted with nothing, an empty string. Okay, so you are going to apply it on text and save it back to the text. Then, once after removing the punctuations, the special characters, everything, we start tokenization. As part of tokenization, I'm using word underscore tokenize. So this particular function helps us me to tokenize, to convert the text into small tokens. That is nothing but the words. But before that, it has to undergo, lower casing. Once after the text converted to lower casing, it gets also converted to tokens. It gets converted to tokens. Then I'm going to convert all stop words. The stop words file that we have converted, that we have downloaded will be converted as a set. And I'll use this set of stop words to filter the common words, the connector words that are present in my text. So for that, I'm using, a list comprehension. You observe here, return, the function should return it. You are supposed to understand from here, friends. Okay, a list comprehension every time, understand from the loop for word in words. So whatever the word that you will take from this particular words, so nothing but the tokens, each word, take each word. If that word is not in stop words, if it is not in stop words, only it has to be written in the output. If not, it should not be written. That is my condition as part of if statement. I hope the function is very clear, and we are going to define the function over here. The custom defined function will be defined, and this function will be using to complete my entire text pre-processing steps. So I have defined the function, and now this particular function, I'm going to use on my, text. Where do we have the text? The text is in clean underscore text. Okay, so I have it in clean underscore text. I'm taking the review column. So, okay, my bad. Again, I'm using a comprehension, right? So I should start from the loop for review in review underscore text. So obviously I have it in the list, right? So for each review in this list, okay, yeah, it has to undergo this function. Each review will be passed to this function, and it gets stores the reviews to the same. Oh no, it's a new list that we are going to give as output. Its name is clean underscore reviews. So this is the list that you are going to get. And if you open it, you'll not have any kind of, punctuation marks. You'll not have the text in uppercase. You'll not have any kind of stop words. No stop words, no punctuation marks, no connectors. Yes. And moreover, all the characters, each and every word will be in lowercase. So this is what the custom defined function does. And yes, accordingly, you're supposed to write, friends. Now, let me define one more function to get n-grams. To get that n-grams, I'm writing a custom defined function again. So this particular function is going to take the reviews from whatever the input that you're going to pass will be taken here, and initially takes the frequency as 1. Okay, so an empty list is what it is creating inside, and it is having a for loop for each review. In this reviews, it performs n-grams on that review depending on the n value that you pass. By default, it is 1. It's a default argument that you're passing here, right? So if you want to change, you can also give any other value to n. I hope it's making sense, right? So what I'm trying to do is, it is going to create a 1 gram, 2 gram, 3 gram. Yes, depending on the n value, it is going to return the frequency count of grams. Okay, so let me also define the function here for creating the grams. Yes, I'm done. Okay, once after creating the function, now I'll use it on my cleaned reviews. So on this output, I'm passing the reviews, and I'm also passing the n value. So initially, I'll go and create unigrams. So that means all your text will be converted to only a single word. Okay, so let me execute, and you're storing in unigram underscore freq. Okay, So, acha, we have it in this way. Acha, okay, right. Then let me also, I will display, friends. We are going to visualize all these unigram, bigram, and trigrams. That's okay. But we have a function here. Before we visualize, I am supposed to explain it, right? So let me also do the same. Let me get bigrams. In the same way, let me get trigrams. So what is this bigram, trigram, and unigram? It depends on the n value. Whatever the n value that you're passing, accordingly you'll be getting the output. I'll just give an example. If you have, in your text, if you have United States of America, okay? So probably if this particular country is present in your text on whatever you're working on, okay? So when you apply removal of stop words, OF off will be removed. So you'll have United States America, right? So when you use unigram, when you're trying to get unigram, what happens is United States America will be written as United separately, States separately, and America separately. Okay, but what about bigram? You'll get two possibilities. United States will be one text, and States America will be, you know, the second text. So that means two words can be part of a string. Okay, two, you know, what the side by side words can be part of one string. What about trigram? You can have all United States America within a string, within a token. So that makes the difference between unigram, bigram, and trigram. So in order to visualize these word clouds, I'm coming up with a for loop. I'm coming up with a custom defined function, my bad. So for that, I'm using again, some two parameters like whatever the name you would like to give as a title and you know the input. So these particular input values will be taken and they'll be joined. Okay, again, I'm coming up with a list comprehension. Okay, and we are giving all the lines of code to fix the visualization. The size of the figure should be 10 by 5. Go again, you are supposed to visualize a word cloud, axis not required. Okay, the title should be taken the same title and the font size of the title is 14. Okay, so let me define my function and visualize at least 1 gram so that you'll get a clear picture. Now I'm going to pass the unigram freak that we got the output for unigram. Okay, I'm going to pass into this function. Let us see how the output will be like. So do this particular word cloud has any stop words? No. Do you have any kind of punctuation marks? No. Okay. And moreover, all the text pre-processing steps, whatever required are done. And on that, we have performed unigram. So that means each and every word will be part of, one string. Okay. So Sankrantiki will be one and Vastuna will be the other word. Okay. Even the text, the movie name has been split into two words. This is one different word and this is one different word with respect to unigram. But if you take bigram, let us go and visualize bigram word cloud. Okay, I'll pass the output of bigram frick into the same function. But you see here, so we don't have majority. mm, okay, probably even here, there is no two-letter word that is used for the more number of times. So that is the reason you're not able to, visualize any of the word. Okay, if there is any, yeah, probably this one, film music. Okay, so yes, there is no word which is repeated for the more number of times with a combination of two words, right? Anyways, let me go and do trigram word cloud. So we may not get the right, words, but I hope you are getting the point, friends. Okay. So probably in this particular reviews, we don't have any trigram words that are important, but when you work it on any other context, yes, you may understand the difference between unigram, bigram, and trigram. Now, I just completed the grams. Now, let me also visualize, positive word cloud and negative word cloud. Shall we do that? Yes. So based on the sentiment column that we have within the data frame, okay, I would like to convert these reviews to back to text based on, positive and negative, because we are aware that under positive we have 16 reviews, under the negative we have only one review, right? So I take this sentiment column based on the values positive and negative. I'm going to split, I'm going to separate the reviews, okay, and that review will be converted to a list and I'll be joining them. So let me do it, because I would like to visualize a positive word cloud and negative word cloud together. So for that, I'm using the same concept. I'm just visualizing a positive word cloud and negative word cloud together. So I'm going to create some kind of subplots. Plot within a plot is nothing but subplot. So I'm using word cloud function. Okay. So today, to visualize positive sentiment reviews and negative sentiment reviews. Okay. So the output, if you see, it is going to generate on positive reviews, the positive word cloud, and the negative word cloud will be generating on negative reviews. And the overall size of the figure should be 12 by 5, out of which the first subplot should have a positive word cloud. Okay, and the title is given here. And then the second subplot of the same figure, we should display negative word cloud, okay, which takes the negative reviews. Anyhow, we are aware that only one review is present, but still, let us do it. Okay, I'll execute. Did we get positive word cloud and negative word cloud? Yes. So that means across all the positive reviews, these are the words which have repeated for the more number of times. Okay. So that is why you see some words with higher frequency, the size of the words are very big. Okay. So across all the reviews, it means that Venkatesh is the name that is used for the more number of times. So the frequency is more, obviously the size of that particular word will be more. Then if you see negative review, anyhow, we got only one, out of this, probably, accordingly, it has given some kind of the polarity score. It has given the size. So in this way, you can get the reviews and the sentiments. Okay. You can do it for any of the product. Okay. It's not only a product. It can be, whatever. If you are trying to buy anything, it's better if you go and do some research on the reviews and all, you do it in the same way. Okay, scrape the data, understand the reviews, understand the sentiment of the public, accordingly you take an action. I hope it's making sense. So just as an experiment, we have took a movie randomly and the reviews were being analyzed. So friends, so today we had a small session. Anyhow, I think even if it is a small session, we got a good kind of understanding regarding web scraping, how the data should be scraped from the web URL, and then performing sentiment analysis is what we have understood. And in tomorrow's session, we'll continue a bit further and we'll also take our discussion to the next level. So if you had any questions, yes, shoot your questions. If not, we are done for the day. Again, we'll meet in the next session. But before you leave, if you feel the session is good, hit on the like button and also share across your connections. Ask them to learn these, you know, uh, important topics. NLP is a mandatory skill that is, required as part of real world. Yes. The feedback link will be posted. Yes, it got posted. Do share your feedback. Thank you so much, friends, for joining and making the session interactive. Again, we'll meet in the next session. Until then, take care. Have a great day. Signing off. Bye.